Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Digimon Adventure 2020, episode 36. So, last time we got Angelomon, and it was in an underwater battle against Marine Devimon, and we got a little more info. That's about it. So we're gonna kind of have to see where this episode goes and see just how things continue to progress. We're still only about halfway through the series, and it's wild to me that that's the case. Because it feels like we've been doing this forever, and maybe that's partially because this originally started last March, I think it was. But then because of COVID, it was like held off for like a couple months or so. Um, so it's like it feels like we've been doing this forever because in a way we kind of have. We've been doing it for almost a year now. But again, it's like it was held off for a little bit after the first couple episodes due to COVID and everything, and then it's like even so, it still feels like it's been just so long. Like, because outside of like One Piece, like we haven't like done shows to last this long before, and it's kind of gotten me into thinking about what to do about that. Really, there's a couple options. Either we just continue going as normal, um, or we put the show on hold for the moment. Because we're not dropping it. We're not dropping Digimon Adventure 2020 at all. That's not happening. I enjoy it too much. I like it too much. But the issue is, it's gotten to the point where it's not that I don't want to watch it. It's that I want to move on for the channel. I've stated this before. I don't like stagnance. I don't like it when we just sit on the same show for too long. One Piece has been the only exception due to just my insane interest in the series, especially with the Wano arc now. But for most shows, it's like that's why I don't do multiple seasons in a row, why I take a break between seasons, because I like to have a good diversity on the channel that keeps changing, that keeps updating. When a series is really long, it feels stagnant to keep reacting to it for too long. Even if you enjoy the series, it starts to, at least I start to get bored of reacting to it. And I don't want it to get to the point where I become so apathetic towards the show that I do drop it. I don't want it to get to that point. So I have been mulling this around for the past week or so, maybe even a little longer than that, technically, but definitely for the past week or so. And I'm really thinking it might be a good idea to not drop it, just take a break, watch something else, and then come back to it. It's kind of like we did with Pandora Hearts. It's the same kind of situation. I enjoyed Pandora Hearts, but it was getting to the point where I was starting to grow apathetic towards reacting to it. So I wanted to take a break, react to Free, and then I'll come back to Pandora Hearts. It's the same kind of situation here. We will definitely come back to, Digimon. I apologize for that. We will definitely come back to it. Because I want to see where it goes. And I think like putting it off for a little and letting some episodes even build up might even be a good thing for that. It might actually help. Because then we could possibly even do multiple episodes a week at some points. Which, again, like I've said we would be able to do and stuff, but we really haven't done yet. since we started this new schedule. It's just we have stuck mostly to the one episode outside of the shows that are exempt from that, like One Piece and when we were doing She-Ra season 5. But still, it's like that could possibly help with that in case we do start doing that. Just saying. Plus, this is one of those shows that I don't have to worry about spoilers for because no one I follow at least has been talking about it. I'll occasionally hear someone mention it, but that's about it. I never see any spoilers, so I won't have to worry about that. My only real issue is I am going to miss it for that time that we have off. But I think this is going to be necessary just to kind of reinvigorate my interest. And halfway through the series, the fact that it took over 30 episodes to really start feeling like this, that still says a lot about this show and how much I enjoy it. It's just, it is starting to feel like that. I still love it. I want to take a break in order to kind of recenter myself on that, in order to kind of just get back into the groove of these Monday reactions and check out something else in the meantime to kind of diversify things. Like I said, we will return to this as soon as we can. But for the time being, we will be moving on. I will announce at the end of this video what we will be moving on to, what will be replacing it. But we will be still reacting to this next episode before the break, obviously. Obviously, you're watching this. So next week, we will be starting the new series. And then once we finish that, we'll come right back to Digimon. It'll be like literally, we will be right back to Digimon. Again, it's the same kind of situation as Pandora Hearts. So yeah. I apologize for all of you who really have been enjoying this and wanted to see me just continue on going, but again, we will get back to it, and I need a break from this series. If I don't take a break from this series now, I will probably grow apathetic towards it, and again, I don't want to end up dropping it because of that. So I'm just taking precautions, just being safe about it. We will return to this. It'll just be on hold for the time being. So that being said, though, I do hope we leave off on a good episode. Because the last episode, while enjoyable, didn't really do enough for me to really warrant Angelomon. Let's put it that way. It wasn't as exciting of an episode to bring in my favorite Digimon with. And I'm not saying, obviously, that they needed to cater to me or anything, but it's just I wish the episode had been more exciting, more interesting. And hell, I wish Angelomon would have had a two-parter to introduce her with. It's just, I just feel it was less than it could have been. But I still enjoyed it well enough. But yeah, I'm hoping that this episode, since we're going to be leaving off on this for the time being, is really good. I'm hoping maybe we'll get back to some of the kids in this one. If we don't get back to any of them in this one, I'm going to be upset. But based on where we left off last time as well, there was this like little bit at the end where we were kind of reconnecting with Izzy. We might start reuniting with the kids now. Like we might start with Izzy and then go into some others. That seems to be like where they're going, because Izzy is kind of there's all the stuff going on in the human world, and I think we're gonna get into that this episode. That's how I'm viewing it, at least. Oh, excuse me. So we're just gonna get into this then, and like I said, at the end of this video, I will reveal what the replacement, the temporary replacement for Digimon 2020 will be. So let's get on with this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Blitz Greymon. Just, alright. Again, I know of Blitz Greymon, and other various Greymon forms. I just was not expecting that. It was just so out of left field for me. I just did not see it coming. I have no issue with it. Like, we've already seen throughout the series that branching evolution paths are a thing in this one, which is very unique. Because it's like, yeah, you'll see that in the games and stuff. Like, the game I have, it's like you can digivolve to a specific form, but then you can de-digivolve and choose again and everything, and it's like, it's a really cool way to do it, and I think other Digimon games have done that too. It's been a while since I've played anything else, Digimon-wise. But at the same time, I just didn't expect it in the series, because the anime never really did that. It really stuck to one line. Like, Agumon always went to Greymon, to Metal Greymon, to War Greymon. It was always just that. But no, now we're having branching forms, and I'm wondering, like, how far is it going to go? Because we've already have Patamon now turning to Pegasmon instead of Angemon, and that's like stuck. That's more common now that he becomes Pegasmon, which is again really wild to think about. But now we have Metal Greymon turning into Blitz Greymon, and I think Blitz Greymon a Mega level as well. Let me just check on that real quick, just to be safe. Yes, it is a Mega. So we have two Mega level forms for the Agumon line so far in this series, and none for the others. And I mean, hell, we haven't even gotten an ultimate with Patamon, unless Pegasus. I don't think. Now I'm curious. I don't think Pegasmon is. No, I think I looked this up before too. Pegasmon is armor level, so it doesn't really count as anything else. Um, I guess just equivalent, it would be a champion level just because it's kind of taking over for Angemon. So I'm going to count it as champion level for now. But still, we haven't seen an ultimate form for them. Um, we haven't seen a mega form for anyone else. We may have gotten a hint of one for the Tentamon line in this one. But it's like, I get that Tai is the main character. I get that. Out of all of the heroes here, I understand that he is the main character, the kind of big one. Like, I understand. But there's a point where it's just it ignores all the other characters, it feels like, in order to boost him up constantly. He gets all of these different forms before everyone else. He gets two mega forms before anyone else gets even one. And then it's like even his sister like reaches ultimate form before Takeru reaches ultimate. And it's like I get that he's the main character. I understand that and I accept that. But there's a point where it just gets to be like a little much in a series where yes, you have one main character and then a bunch of other lesser main characters. You still want to give just as much attention and focus and stuff on the other ones too. Ruby does that exceptionally well. Even Hunter x Hunter does that well. But it's like this series not as much. At least not as much as I'd want it to. um, but let's talk about the other stuff. So they meet up with Koshiro, with Izzy, and they have to stop the International Space Station from crashing into Japan. So, in order to do so, they have to basically ride up this pillar of light, which will connect them to the net, which will allow them to interact with stuff in the real world, in essence, the ISS. Um, on the way, they end up fighting Blade Kuwagamon and their leader, um, something Life Kuwagamon. I can't remember exactly what the name is. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Metal Life. Yeah, they end up fighting a bunch of Blade Kuwagamon and their leader Metal Life Kuwagamon, which Metal Greymon does need to evolve into Blitz Greymon to defeat. Um, Meanwhile, Tai encourages Koshiro to head up himself alone. But Koshiro kind of struggles with this, not wanting to leave them as well as just not wanting to be alone. And we get this little monologue on how throughout most of his life he's always been so alone. He's always like tried to be alone, and now he doesn't want to be because of he has friends and so much to live for and so much to love. And it's like I understand. I'm kind of the same way. Like growing up in school and stuff, I was always kind of a loner. Well, after a certain point, like early middle school and before that, I was fine. But like seventh grade on, basically, um, I definitely became a lot more reclusive and kind of like just kept to myself. Um, there are always some exceptions, but for the most part, like I would eat at lunch alone and stuff like that, and it's like I that's just how I kind of became. I kind of just like hid away into myself, and as I exited high school and everything, and especially with since coming out, honestly, I've been able to make a lot more friends, and I've gone to parties and stuff, and I've hung out with people a lot more. And yeah, I've learned to just kind of embrace being around others. So I get what Izzy's going through. Um, so Izzy manages, with the help of Atler Kabuterimon, to change the trajectory of the missile and or not the missile, the ISS. I was thinking back to the first time. The ISS, and it still crashes, but it crashes this time into the water instead of the city. So, a success, all things considered. Um, and yeah, it's just, it kind of ends there with like Izzy just like kind of gaining some self confidence and whatnot, which is great, and I enjoyed it. And I'm glad that this episode had such a huge focus on Izzy and honestly his mental state. I thought it was a great idea, especially since he hasn't been in the focus for so long. Um, I enjoyed it. I thought this was a good episode to go out on. We got a new form for the Agumon line. We got Blitzgreymon. We got some focus on another character besides Tai for once in quite a while. And we got some other cool stuff within the episode as well. So I think that this was a good episode to break on. So, as I stated in the pre thoughts, we are taking a break from this series. We will be coming back to it. It's not being dropped. We are coming back to it. It's like with what we did with Pandora Hearts. We're taking a break from it, going to get to a different show in the meantime, just to diversify things and keep me from kind of growing apathetic towards this one. And then we're going to come back to it. I know Digimon Adventure 2020 is still airing and stuff, but I think this is going to be the best route to take because, again, it's just I don't want to end up getting apathetic towards this show and end up actually dropping it down the line. That would suck. It's just, again, it's been so long since we started this. We've been going with this series for so long. I think we need a break from it for now. So, I was actually trying to figure out what we were going to replace it with for the time being. Because this was a currently airing slot. I didn't really have a plan for its replacement. With currently airing stuff, it's hard to kind of say that and all. And there's some currently airing stuff that's going to come up like during the course of this year that I want to check out, but like Shaman King doesn't start till April, and I think Dragon Maid season 2 is in July. I think it's the summer season. So it's like we still have a lot of time before those. Um, and we'll figure that out when we get to it. So right now, let's just put something else in this slot, something that's not a currently airing thing. Just again, just to kind of take a break from things. I mean, the slots don't necessarily have to stay the same type of series every time. Um, so I thought a good thing to do, especially during this month, during Black History Month, would be to check out a show I've been wanting to see for a while and just haven't gotten around to. One that I've actually just considered watching on my own time just to make sure I could check it out, and again, just never got around to doing so with. And that is Cannon Busters. So, Cannon Busters, for those who don't know, is a Netflix original anime. It is produced by the same producer as The Legend of Korra and is made by two different anime studios, Studio Satellite and Umeta Company. It is a project created by Black creators based on a comic book series. And I believe one of the companies, I want to say no, it's not Umeta. I think one of the companies for this one is actually like completely Black owned. Like there was this entire big deal about that. But it never really got a lot of attention, and the few times I have heard about it was always like in such a positive light, and I've wanted to check it out. Plus, I've seen like a couple like very minor clips here and there, and it's like it looks really nice. So I think that because of the focus on the Black creators and everything, I want to give this show a shot. I think it's a great choice for February for this month. And hopefully I enjoy it as much as I'm hoping to. And again, we will be getting to Digimon Adventure again right after. Like, we'll be coming right back to it. This series is 12 episodes long, and it's normal length episodes. And it's actually, it is on Netflix, like I said, so no matter what, it'll be easy to react to. And yeah, we shall get to this for a while and come back to Digimon in the future. I think this is going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be good to just take a break, to just step back and come back to Digimon in the future once we've kind of cleared ourselves from the overall, like, just oversaturation of it. You know what I mean? It's like when it's a 66 episode series in total. We're 36 episodes in, and we've been watching it for most of a year. Like, with only like a couple months off, only because it took a short break because of COVID. It's like it's been so long, and I just want to like make sure again that I don't get apathetic towards it. So I think this is going to help. We'll come right back to it after, but I'm very excited to check out Cannon Busters, see what it's like. I don't actually know what it's about, um, but I'll talk more about that when we actually get to the reaction next week. Um, And like with anything, it'll be on average one episode per week. But if at any point we end up wanting to, or whatnot, wanting to do more than one episode, two or even three or whatever, we can at any point. It's like the option is open. So, in the meantime, tell me what you thought of this episode of Digimon Adventure 2020 that we left off on. Tell me what you think of the change to Cannon Busters for the time being. Have you seen it? What do you think of it? Just no spoilers, as always. And yeah, thank you all so much for continuing to support the channel. So for now, yeah, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.